First up on the agenda is an old asylum for the Ohio State Insane Asylum that is no longer in operation. They tore it down, unfortunately. The cemetery with the patients still remains, so we are going to go there first. Come along. Here with Amy.
Hi.
And I'm taking her around. She's from California, all the way in California. She was here for the Parapsychon, and she had the day available today. She doesn't leave out until tonight, so I was like, let me take you to some places. I have actually not been to this cemetery either, so this is a first for both of us, so we are going to go and explore it. I did bring a couple pieces of ghost hunting equipment, so maybe we'll do some of that too.
Absolutely.
Yay. All right, let's go into it. The tombstones that you're seeing here are towards the front of the cemetery, and they make up the bulk of the tombstones that you can see. A lot of them have at least a name and a death date. Some of them do have an age and a birth date as well.
Thornton. I know, this one I can't read it at all. Hazel? Hable? Hair? I don't know. Aww.
The field that this cemetery is in seems to indicate that there are much more graves than what you can see. A lot of it is kind of like an empty space. There's one tombstone that stands out, which is called Specimens. It's simply labeled Specimens, and I guess you can kind of maybe figure out what that is. There were also tombstones that had some offerings on them as well. And further back from those first rows of tombstones were these flat stones, some of which had dates and names, and then other ones simply stated M or F with the patient's number. While it may seem like at first that this cemetery doesn't have very many tombstones and that most of it is just this open field, all of these flat tombstones are throughout this entire field. That's a lot of people.
What's this one? Recognize the courage of past state hospital residents who lived with mental illness and inspired future understanding. I'm gonna have to look up who this is. I don't know who.
Yeah, he's 2014.
Oh, these are the unnamed. Like this one just says F14056. This is just her patient number.
We decided to sit in the back corner of the cemetery so I could pull some tarot cards to get some insight specifically into the Specimens tombstone, and this is what I got.
Okay. Definitely it's a bunch of, to put it bluntly, a bunch of pieces. It's a bunch of pieces of people that were utilized for different studies, experiments even, which sounds terrible, but yeah. And that makes me so sad too, because you got to think, like, these probably weren't willing participants, so like, were they operated on, experimented on? Well, yeah, they were experimented on while they were alive with lobotomies and electroshock and all of that, but they probably had no say, like, yeah, go ahead and use my body, cut it up and experiment. Which is, I'm glad that they have those little markers here too that say, like, even though these people probably more than likely weren't willing participants in the study of medicine and psychology, I think it is nice that they have these plaques to at least acknowledge that, if it weren't for these people, we may not know some of the stuff that we know with psychology and mental health and physical health as well. But I think that's kind of blunt and to the point, a bunch of pieces, parts, it's all just
All cut
up in there. Yeah. And I do think that this makes the spirits sad. It made them sad.
We then decided to lighten the mood a little bit and checked out Witch Lab, which is an amazing witchy shop here in Columbus, Ohio, filled with so many awesome, unique antiques and crystals and Ouija boards and all your witchy and spiritual needs. They also offer a lot of classes and events, so definitely check out Witch Lab here in Columbus. You can even check out their website as well. After the cemetery and the witchy shopping, we were starving, so we went literally right down the road to Tommy's Diner, which is one of those kind of old-fashioned diners. They have a lot of really good food. The service was excellent. The menu is huge, all different kinds of options. I'm gluten-free, and I was able to eat well there and had no issues. Here we are at Green Lawn Cemetery.
Hi.
First time. What do you think of Green Lawn?
Oh my God, this is one of the most beautiful cemeteries. Just
Absolutely is.
absolutely gorgeous.
So we just drove through trying to get to section 87. We're looking for Dr. Snook's tombstone, the murderer. It's on the ground.
On the ground, okay.
Dr. James Howard Snook was a professor of veterinary medicine at Ohio State University when he had an affair, 3-year-long affair, with a student named Theora Hicks. He would eventually end up brutally murdering her. He was sentenced to die in the electric chair. So since we've been standing here at Dr. Snook's grave, both of us standing here in front of his grave, we're feeling like in our chest here, kind of like a tightness or discomfort, pain-ish feeling. I did move over to the tree and I didn't feel it anymore. And this isn't spooky or anything, I guess, unless you think bats are spooky, but I love that the cemetery has put up this little bat habitat tree. Super cute. Love bats. And that pretty much concluded our witchy cemetery day in Columbus.